Have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 11, printed in Part A of House Report number 111-219, offered by Mr. Neugebauer of Texas.
Pursuant to House Resolution 669, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Neugebauer, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise today on a simple mission to help get some of the taxpayers' money back. We passed a historic spending bill back in February, saddling our children, our grandchildren with mountains of debt. We were told these funds would go out to projects targeted temporarily and, most importantly, timely projects referred to as shovel-ready. Well, guess what, Mr. Chairman? According to the White House own website, recovery.gov, just 11 projects have been awarded by the Department of Transportation so far, just 11 projects. So we rushed out to spend $20+ billion. We told we can't wait till we get to the normal appropriation process. We've got to go spend this money right now so we can get it out and create the jobs. And let me tell you how reliable this recovery.org, recovery.gov is. Just this week, a military installation in my district was featured in the Drudge Report for what appeared to be excessive amounts of stimulus spendings. It turns out there was an error, in fact, made by, guess what, Mr. Chairman, the operators of recovery.gov. They couldn't even enter the contract correctly onto the website, and which is supposed to be the model for our government transparency. Just one more example of how flawed this recovery process has been, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that astounds me is that we said we had to go out and spend all of this money. It was going to create jobs. Well, but the question is, where are the jobs, Mr. Chairman? What we've seen since we passed this recovery package is people have lost their jobs. Mr. Chairman, today, 14 million people are out of work. 9.5% of Americans don't have a job. And now, you know what we're helping them do? We say, you know what, we know you don't have a job, you're having a hard time getting by. You know what we're going to do? We're going to pile up mounds and mounds and mounds of debt so that your children and grandchildren will have to work 25 hours a day just to pay the debt. Mr. Chairman, what this simple amendment does is it says, you know what, we were wrong. We thought we could spend this $21 billion. We needed to get it out immediately. We found out we can't. And so we're going to give part of that money back, $13 billion of it back. Let me tell you the logic in what this bill does today. We said we had to rush out and get this $21 billion to be spent. And what we were saying and what we know is now 13 projects and less than $1 billion of contracts have been awarded. And you know what we're going to reward the government to do? We're going to say, y'all did such a bad job of not spending the $21 billion we gave you back in the spring. We're going to reward you. We're going to give you another $21 billion of the taxpayers' money. And by the way, Mr. Chairman, it's $21 billion we don't have. $21 billion we don't have. And so what we're going to have to do is not only going to go give them another $21 billion, but we're going to have to go borrow $21 billion from China or Japan or some other country. It just doesn't make sense to keep going down this path. Mr. Chairman, we have to stop that. With that, I reserve my time.
Reserves. Who claims time in opposition?
I claim time in opposition.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, this amendment is $13 billion. Therefore, compared with what I called slash and burn, this is slash and burn a little bit less than the previous one. But generally, it has there's no directions as to how one might do it, and I'm left with the question of what kinds of impacts this one might have. And I would point out that it would have an impact of now not the 16%, but only a 11%, 11 or 12% cut, roughly 11, I guess it would be, on all of our transit programs, the public transportation programs that we fund and that move people around with,